when I'm not sort of doing artwork, I play a lot of basketball. Nobody celebrates as hard as I do. I'm just like, wow. I hate that I'm saying this in front of like a lot of people or whatever. Me and Carla come together on like Married at First Sight.
Yeah, I knew it. I was waiting for it. Yeah, that's how it is.
I knew it. I could tell when he walked in, this guy watches maths. I know I'm different to most people, but everybody's different to each other. Everybody is their own unique person.
But why skulls?
Oh my God!
Before we go on, I probably should introduce
Oh yeah, we'll do that. Sorry. Yeah.
Now, do you actually go by Andy online, or you
just Andy? Andy.
Do you hide it?
Not really. No, I guess I've just never been the one to try and get all the attention. So I just like last 6 months I've been like, yeah, it's just Andy, but it's still just Jack of the Dust.
All right, cool. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a special guest, my friend Andy from Jack of the Dust.
Thanks for having me.
We finally got him down to Melbourne. Well, we didn't get him down.
Yeah.
Formula One did.
Yeah.
But he's here, and we're going to have a great chat, I guess.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
We've already been having a great chat.
So fun.
Like, honestly.
Okay.
We've done the intro halfway.
Editing-wise, you're probably going to see stuff we already talked about.
Yeah. Honestly.
Because we're like half an hour in.
Yeah.
Also, whoever gets confused, that's the camera pointing towards.
Oh, yeah. Epic. Yeah, epic. Cool.
Yeah, so because some people see me looking at that one, so
Yeah.
they look at that one.
Yeah.
So that one's
But that one's not really going to catch her.
Yeah,
That one in the middle is a wide shot.
Yeah.
That one in the middle gets all three of us.
Yeah, epic.
Yeah.
So good.
Makes sense. You confused him more, but
Nice setup. I love it. So good.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And good to have you here.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, man. Well, at least we've done that little half an hour. So at least I'm starting to get used to having like the sound in my ears sort of thing. Like I'm talking in a hall to myself or something.
You get used to it pretty quickly.
I'm warming up. I'm warming up.
so for the people that don't know you and know what you do, I know this is a bit formal, but explain to the audience.
Yeah, easy. Hey guys, my name's Andy from Jack of the Dust. So I'm based on the Gold Coast, Australia, and I make skulls. Cody's got a couple of them around the room. So we've got a couple here and just on the wall there up there with the redback spider. So we make these from the Gold Coast. I've got a team of 14 people now with 2 shops, and we send them all around the world.
But why skulls?
Oh my God! So let's get into it. It's a funny story. I can actually tell you how it first started. So I was living in Coomera and I had roommates. So I was working as a boat builder, like 40 hours. I was working at the video shop 15 hours. And I was renting rooms out. So even before Jack of the Dust, I had 3 sources of income. Yeah. So I'm always just a bit of a hustler. I'm just working, just trying to get something going. I didn't really have a direction. I was just pushing wherever I could. So I had some roomies, and when they moved in, hey Andy, like we got you this little like home warming present. Like we got you this little skull, and it's like a little $2 skull from like a little $2 shop. It was like ceramic with like dragon on top of it. Yeah. It was fucking terrible. Yeah. I hated it. And I'm like, oh, thanks guys. Thank you so much. And I'm like, man, I reckon I could save this. So I cut off the dragon. I painted it black. I painted the teeth. And it actually looked quite good. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck, that was fun. I'm like, I could definitely do that again. So I ordered a human anatomy skull, which is more high end. It's what you would see a doctor use or something like that, or in universities to explain like anatomy. So I used that and I repainted that design onto that skull. And then it just kept on going to the next one and the next one and the next one. And I was just like, it just gave me that creative outlet, because I've always been super creative, but not in a flat sense. So I can't draw. So everybody thinks, oh, he can sculpt, he can do everything. I'm like, I cannot do anything but what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Sculpting and painting sculptures is kind of where my skill set is. Give me a pen and a paper and I'll make it look like a 2-year-old did it. Surprisingly. Yeah. So yeah, even when I start a concept, people are like, okay, so do you like start hashing it out on paper and draw it out? And it's not the case. I kind of just get the idea, get some visual references, and I just start moving the clay around, and that's just how the process starts. So even when I start, I'm not too familiar on where I'm going. Yeah. I kind of just flesh it out.
Wing it.
Man, and it's just like, you look at it, like clay is like in a constant state of movement. So you're constantly looking at it going, I don't like this, I do like this. Yeah. And as you're like, okay, I'll change this. And you keep looking and like refining, and it might be similar to how you work, whereas like you sort of like rough something out and then you sort of keep fleshing it out and maybe changing bits and pieces.
Some of my best works are usually accidents, like
Yeah.
during the process.
Yeah.
Like while I'm creating something from the blueprint to the end,
Yeah.
I would make an accident in the middle, and that's what makes it good. Because it's not my original process, and you kind of get that even in sculpting.
Yeah.
Like when you put something like,
Well, it's organic.
Yeah.
It happens organic. And that's something so beautiful about making it by hand, is that sometimes things can happen, things can go wrong, and you can go like, I didn't mean that, but it looks,
way
it looks
better.
pretty good.
It looks way better. Yeah.
My best workout.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of like art in general.
Yeah.
It's like the trial and error process. Because
Yeah.
once you do something, that's why I always like F up with clients.
Yeah.
When they have like a set
You're trying to get some direction, yeah.
When they have a set direction and you're going in that direction and it's starting to look like what they want, but you don't like it.
100%. And that's where it gets a little bit hard, because it's like, obviously you want to please the client and do something that serves them.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it goes against your own grain of creativity, you're like, oh man, it's still got my name on it. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm making it for this person, but it's still going to be tied to me.
It's always crap when you have to like tell your fans and stuff, well, this is what the client wanted.
Yeah.
When you're saying that, you're admitting that it's not good, but this is what they want.
Well, they might see that it doesn't have like a traditional flair.
Yeah.
They might be like, well, this looks a bit different, but you know, that just comes in collaboration. When you work with someone, you're going to meet them halfway.
Yeah.
You know,
True. They have to understand anyway. Like, if your client, like, what can you do? You have to work
the
for
client's usually happy.
Yeah.
It's the people around.
I'm saying you're working for them. So if the fans see it,
it's the spectators.
Yeah.
It's the guys
Yeah.
that aren't involved
Yeah.
because they don't get affected.
Yeah.
That are like, well, I would have done it like this or
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
like, well, you didn't work for the client.
The
Yeah,
only problem is when there's like in my field, especially
Yeah.
when I create something, the client liked it,
Yeah.
I didn't like it,
Yeah.
my fans didn't like it, but then there's so much noise that they didn't like it that the client stops liking it, and
Yeah.
then they're like, well, you have to change it now. I'm like, this was your idea.
Yeah.
This is-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you never know. Like, I suppose, have you ever sort of given the client what they wanted and then gone, well, what about this, and shown them something else?
I always like, not always, but it's like certain times I'll give them what they did,
Yeah.
and I'll give two of my concepts.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the direction you should probably be going in.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back to their marketing and they'll literally pick out the best things out of my work
Yeah.
and put on theirs, and it's like it's their
Blend
idea
it
now.
together.
It's their
Yeah,
idea now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. Even though I've been doing artwork for about 10 years, surprisingly, I've almost never done artwork for anybody else. So I've never been in that situation where somebody was like, I want this, or this.
Do you want to? Is that a thing? Like,
I mean, look,
you would look.
it's not something I'm chasing, but I can see in the future that certain things are probably going to happen. I would say now, like, I'm probably just starting to get a little bit more exposure, and I could just foresee these opportunities popping up here and there. I did have, I can't talk about what the project is, as you probably do, but we've had Warner Brothers reach out to us about a movie they're working on. But most likely I won't have a creative aspect. I'll just be kind of just doing the work sort of thing. But so I can see, probably after that, they might sort of use us more often or something like that.
So
'Cause we're on the Gold Coast. We're in the heart of the movie industry, which
There's another person that I know in LA that kind of does what you do, but not to that level. But they've hired him for props now.
Yeah.
So if there's like props you can do and stuff, that would be pretty dope, I think.
It would be so fun. Like, honestly, like, even if I didn't have the creative direction, which I don't think I would really want in that respect anyway, because I just would want to be at service to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that sort of diva artist that's like, well, I would have done it like this and this and that.
Yeah.
I just want to be like, I create my own stuff all the time. Whatever you want is what I'll do. I'll close my eyes, I'll put on my blindfold, and it's just because I know that the movie industry can be quite tough. Dealing with so many creatives, it can be hard to get hundreds of people to come together on one idea.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just going to come in and you just point and shoot.
It is extremely hard. Like, I've worked with Disney and all that sort of stuff. So like, you can add your flair to it, but do what they want. Do what they like. They literally came to you to get their idea out.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I guess, when it comes along, I'm just going to play ball and just sort of just join along. And I would just be grateful to be a part of the project. Like, I'm just such a huge fan of, like, movies and pop culture and stuff like that. Like I said before, like, I've worked at a video shop, man. That I didn't do that for money or anything like that. Like, I did that just because I really, really wanted to do that job before they shut down too.
Who was it?
Civic Video.
Civic Video. Yeah.
It wasn't one of the bigger ones.
I know Civic Video. Yeah.
It was epic though. I did that job for about 4 years in the afternoon. So I would like work from like 6 till 3 o'clock at boat building. Then I'd do like 4 till 10, 3 nights a week. So my work day would be like 6 in the morning, 10 at night. But because they were so different, it was so fine. Like I was doing the tradie job through the day and then just putting on a nice shirt, talking shit at night at the customer service desk.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I just loved talking movies.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, we'll pay you to do that. So somebody comes in, hey man, what's popping? What sort of movies you got going on? I'm like, hey man, come through here. Like, this is good. This is good. And you get to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So you can give people feedback.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
So you were one of those video store guys that actually knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, half the time, man. I wanted to help people out, and I wanted to know about the movies. And I just love watching movies. To me, it's like the ultimate form of creativity.
Are you still like that till now? You still watch a lot of movies?
100%, man, 100%. Like I'm at home. Carla's not into watching movies. My partner. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Like
I'm the same.
These guys.
I don't know. I like watching movies. I just don't.
I try to talk to them about like movies, and like we're on a podcast about entertainment. They know nothing.
We're getting
you guys actually give him the organic approach. Because you know, as somebody that's just watching it for the sake of the movie or whatever, it's a little bit more organic. Whereas like you might be pulling it apart, like, or not really pulling it apart, but have a little bit more insight when it comes to giving like feedback about it.
But you know, when there's a dope moment in the movie and you want to bring it up, and I talked to this guy about it. This is what happened in like The Matrix, and he's like, "Yeah, I never watched it." I was like, "I'm like
the references."
It's like I'm just looking at the camera. I'm like, "Who am I talking to?"
The references. Yeah. But now I've sort of resorted to just kind of waiting until they're like all come on at home.
Yeah.
So I just watch them at home. But honestly, like it sounds pretty lame, but it's like one of my favorite things to do. It's like when I'm trying to unwind. When it comes to the weekend, I'm just like surfing through what's on. I just want to sit down. I just want to like have some popcorn or something like that and watch a movie. Like,
do you have an all-time favorite?
Man, yeah, I do, and it's like pretty obscure as well. Like, and I'm like, it's a western. It's a western called Tombstone. It's like
he's like me,
man.
now.
It's got.
He says it's out of the box, so
it is. But like, I guarantee you watch it, you'd love it, man. It's got like Doc Holliday played by Val Kilmer. It's got Kurt Russell in it. There's a lot of great actors, and it's a lot of great monologue. Definitely check it out, man. 100%. Like, yeah, it's so good. There's like this little western scene, right, where there's this guy and he's just trying to shut down this other dude in the tavern. He's got a gun. He's doing all these tricks. Like the crowd's loving him. They're like, woo! Yeah. He fucking Val Kilmer pulls out a little teacup and he starts doing like the same shit, and he just becomes like the superstar after that. Because he's just like one of the best gunfighters in the West, apparently. Yeah. He doesn't even give a shit enough to pull out his gun. Yeah. He just pulls out his little teacup, starts like throwing it around. It's just such a wild scene.
That's actually respect.
If you check it out.
I will check it out.
We'll watch it.
So good, so good.
For me, my favorite movie, and it's not really a movie that people like as a favorite, but it's Coming to America. But the only reason it was my favorite, and it still is because my dream was to live in New York. Yeah. That was the whole dream. So kind of growing up. So I kind of like resonated with it. I don't want to live there now anymore, but it's like, but that movie still resonates with me. Yeah. Then part 2 came out, and that was the worst movie.
Ruined it?
Yeah, ruined it for me.
Oh, man. Yeah. I saw it a long, long time ago, but I fully don't remember like what it was like. I'll have to scrub up on it, check it out again.
It just takes you back to a time where there's no cell phones and shit. It's like
well, yeah, it's a good thing, man, because like I feel like our generation, I'm 37, is that like we were living before internet and after internet. So I feel like our generation is the only one almost that gets like both sides.
We got both sides. You know? Yeah, we know how the older generation has it and how the newer generation has it. Yeah. And we've been doing it both.
You know, watching porn with the 56K modem in your house. Holy shit.
Floppy disk. Remember, you had them on a floppy disk, and then you press that like little clicker to
lock it,
so it doesn't delete. Yeah. We used to sell that at school. Man, that was bad. That was bad days.
Oh my god.
We used to have my parents used to have a milk bar. Oh, I'm exposing this because you don't even know about this. My parents used to have a milk bar, and they used to have nude CDs in the backpack on. I know you just used to appreciate them so much. It was the only way I could see them.
You know your mom's watching this, right?
I love your mom.
Man, I've got to ask, what type of milk were they selling at this bar, man?
Milk bar?
What type of... You didn't get it. How do you not get it?
What?
What kind of milk were they selling?
Milk. Oh my.
milk from men.
Dude, by the time we finish,
Oh yeah.
by the time we finish this podcast, you're gonna make a reel of this guy.
That's another picked one. Oh my god.
You're the only reason it's gone viral, bro. I love it.
All right, it is what it is.
You're so gullible. So.
A milk bar, it's like one of those little like private shows. You go in, pay $2 or whatever.
I wish.
Yeah. For our American friends, a milk bar is a convenience store.
Yeah, convenience store. Yeah.
I said that on Twitter last time. Milk bar was like, what the hell are you on about?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, what interested me more is the boat building thing. That's sick.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that was a boat builder.
Man, Gold Coast, obviously, there's a lot of boats there. There's a lot of boat building companies as well. I worked for Riviera, so they do big multi-million-dollar boats. So I was straight out of school, and I actually went to do a carpentry trade, and they just shut me down for it. I don't know why. I think they just gave it to another school or something like that, the opportunities. And they're like, oh, we got boat building. I'm like, oh, yeah, that could be cool. So I kind of just like fell into it, and I did it for about 12 years, man. I actually really enjoyed it. You learn a lot, and it's a lot of craftsmanship and in finishing these interiors and designing boats. And I did it for a long time, but I did it for like 10 years, and I was kind of like, I like it. I just don't know if I want to spend the next 10 years doing this. I'm like, I've enjoyed it, but I don't want to spend the next 10 doing this. So that's what made me kind of also switch into artwork, is that even till now, like I think I live my life in like 10-year blocks. So, I left school when I was 17, and then I got to 27, and that's when I sort of do a bit of self-reflection. I'm just like, is this path the path that I want to continue on? Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, probably not, because you only live once. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna try something else. I'm just gonna fish around and just try things. And even when I was a boat builder, I was building a boat at home that actually lost me about $35,000. Like, I was building it myself. It was 10 meters long in my dad's yard, and my fucking dad hated me for it. Fair call. Like, he wanted his little like veggie patch. And I'm just building this like piece of shit boat out the front. And it took me like 7 years or something. I gave it away for free. I literally gave it away for free. I knew it was too big and it was unfinished. So it was like, and I knew that I probably had to spend maybe another 50 or 100 to finish it, which I didn't have. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm sick of this. So I just said, free pickup, take it today. And the guy was ready to take it. I said, there's just one condition. There's one condition on this boat. You don't fucking call me about it. You don't say, hey, why is this like this? Hey, why is like that? I'm like, if you take this for free, this is where we say goodbye. Yeah.
I don't know why they'll call you if you gave it for free.
No, dude, trust me, because it's half finished and I built it. Yeah. They'll be like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Where's this? Where's that? And I'm just like,
I was drunk.
I was drunk for 7 years straight.
Would you say your craftsmanship with that helped you with the work you're doing now?
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. And it's so funny, man, because like when you look at it from the outside, making skulls and making boats have nothing in common, right? But once I explain it, you'll be like, they're more similar than you think, because when you design a boat, you actually have to sculpt it. Yeah. But it's made out of wood and bog, and you shape things and you have a design. So you actually sculpt the first design. Then you make a mold. Then you make a cast of it. So you pull it out and then you assemble it all together, finish it, and then give it to the customer. It's very similar with what I do. So I sculpt the original piece. I make a mold to it. We cast it, we finish it, we paint it, and get it ready for the customer. So it's actually extremely similar. So my production background probably helped me turn artwork into something that could also be a business and support other people. Within our business, you don't really see a lot of it because it's a lot, you just see the artwork, but there's a lot of structure. Yeah. There is just like, to the minute, there's structure through the whole line because there's a bit of a pipeline. There's different groups of people that need to know what's coming. We need to know what products and what paints to order for which skulls and how much. And, it's actually extremely technical, but to the outside eye, they just look at me having fun sculpting. And it's like, they don't see the internal work of how hard it is and how challenging it is to actually not only keep this alive, but to grow even further. It's almost, I tell the guys, this is like, we're defying gravity here, guys. I'm like, this is not fucking easy. Yeah. Like, but, we're doing extremely well. But yeah, it's just a lot of people don't see like the background of
behind the scenes, how difficult it can be. Yeah.
Same with what you guys do. Like, they probably see a lot of the epic artwork and how cool it is and whatever, but they probably just don't understand the pound of flesh it can take from you just doing this. Like, it can really, like, the sacrifice needs to be immense for it to even work. And in the early years, I gave up everything. So I gave up like friendships, partners and stuff like that. Like I had a girlfriend at the time and she was like, it's either me or Jack of the Dust. I'm like, fuck, like, I'm sorry. Like, you definitely deserve to be number one.
Skulls.
See you later.
Skulls. See ya.
No, it worked out in the end.
Well, the way I saw it was I'm trying to better my life. And it's like, you can come along with me or not, but I just can't make you number one.
Yeah, I can't give you that time. Yeah.
I really wanted this to work. And, sport, like I used to play a lot of basketball. I do now. Like the balance is back now.
Yeah.
But, within the first like 5 years, 6 years, you just got to put your head down. And
basically, you got the same story as me. It's like the first few years, it's like you thought you were going to kill yourself doing this. And it's like nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
So
it's the only way
you neglected your health, your family, your everything. Even like you weren't making money, so you're broke as well.
No, that's the thing. A lot of people like forget about that. They don't realize like to grow, like you have to put every dollar back into the business. So it's like even when I had people working for me, they were all getting paid more than I was, and I was living in my factory in this tiny little bed with this tiny little area, and it was a gym before we moved in, so it had showers and it had like a little kitchenette. But I lived in that for like 2 years with my partner Carla and fiance Carla. And the sacrifice was huge, and none of the guys would have known. Nobody would have known that they were getting paid more than I was. Like, because to me, everything had to go back into the business. I was just covering like food and like the bills, and that's it. Everything else, I wouldn't buy myself anything like clothes.
Because you were looking at the end goal. Like 100%. At the end goal, you can reap the rewards, and that's how I was. It's like at the end of this, when you finally make it, it's all worth it. But you have to. You have to go down. You have to go down before you go up. Messed up before what's called. And a lot of people that like starting off doing what you do, doing what I do, they want it within 3 months, and that's the problem. Yeah. We sacrificed for many years, and we sacrificed knowing that there wasn't a guarantee.
Well, that's right. Because like even along the journey as well, there's so many times where things don't work out the way you think they're going to work out. So you actually got to like keep copping all these hits, like every step of the way, and it's like it actually never becomes like easy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
even now it's not easy. It's just a different type of.
It is like it's definitely hard and challenging today. But I would say it was like definitely worse at the start because you just had no resources.
Yeah,
like you had no money, you had no anything. Like you had to give up everything and scrape for every dollar, and so it was tough. But like I'm so stoked that I did, like, because I'm like so stoked on where I'm at today, and I'm like very happy and fulfilled as to I get to be an artist and support other people that get to be a part of the journey as well. Like, they get to share in the glory every time we grow. Like they get to grow with the Jack of the Dust and with the business. But
it's like you got your it's like you got your medals now. Like you don't have to work as hard, and you still have your name and you still have your reputation. Yeah, that's where I'm at in my life now, and that's where you are. Yeah, and that's what makes everything that we sacrifice
it's good to
worth
see,
it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And most of your stuff I saw was sold out as well. It's good to see.
Yeah,
honestly, man.
It is, man. Like I am so great. I'm so grateful. I'm literally so grateful of like where I'm at and also where I want to be. Like for me, like I tell my guys all the time as well, it's actually not about where I'm at. It's where I'm going. It's like no matter how well things are, one of my core parts of my character is progression. So it's like I could be doing extremely fantastic, but I'm always looking for that next edge on how do I grow, because I feel like just moving forward can be very rewarding. But yeah, it's good, man. I'm stoked. And it's also giving people hope, man. Like, for what you do, especially, it's a lot of people like, I can't make it, I can't do it. And then you look at someone like you and they're like, it can be done. Yeah. So people need that icon of, here's someone that did it. So at least it gives them some hope that it is achievable.
I like the people that actually go through with that and listen to it. There's a lot of people in this generation now that it's like you tell them consistency and it's like a broken record that they heard before, which it is consistency. It's like if you don't keep
pushing,
failing, you're not gonna win at the end. It's like, and people that don't know failure, like I know it's been said a billion times, but people that don't know failure literally are not going to make it, because as soon as they fail once, that's it.
Well, I see a lot of people that don't even start because failure is too much of a hit to their pride.
Yeah.
So it's like some people, if they fail, they feel like they've failed, and then they feel this like mass emotion of like sadness or whatever. But it's like you actually,
you have to bounce back. Like, you have to keep going.
It's like Rocky, man. You know, it's not how hard you can hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. So it's a broken record, but it is so true.
Yes.
It is so true. It's you could not even hit that hard, man. You could just a little bit of consistency every day, but as long as you cop those hits and you just keep on moving. Sorry, man. I'll just turn my vibrator off. I went to the milk store before and got one.
But going by what you said, it's like I've seen like a whole bunch of gurus and stuff saying that it's like any niche you do, any profession you do, you dedicate 15 minutes a day to it for a year.
Yeah.
Just 15 minutes a day. And you'll be better than 90% of the people that are not doing it.
Because it compounds like every day. But, you know, and it's also that creates a pattern and also a habit. Because like at a certain point, like you would be at right now, as it becomes habitual. Yeah. You just do this shit without even like thinking now because it's a part of your regime. Yeah. It's just part of your day. Like you don't have to fight yourself to like work now because it's just part of what you do. Mm. And that's like building the mind more than anything. It's like people just need to build that mind. And then if you do it for long enough, it almost just becomes automatic. You're just doing it because that's just what you do. That's
basically me now. Like I see something pop up like news at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'll get up and just do a meme about it. Like it'll take me like 20 minutes, but it's like goes viral. Yeah, so it's so like good. You just know how to do it. You just know what you're doing. Yeah. It's like that's what you're used to now. That's your life. And that's what people need to get to. If you are passionate about something and you love what you do, again, that's cliche, but if it's something that resonates with you, like it becomes second nature. It's not work. It's a part of you.
Well, I suppose that's the toughest one too, is you've actually really got to enjoy it. Yeah. Because if you really enjoy it, then all the pain and hardship becomes worthwhile because you actually enjoy it and you feel like accomplished after you sort of, you know, fight that sort of that battle and get through it. But it's tough to see like not more artists like making it because it's such a cliche, is like the struggling artist. So maybe it's hard to put like motivation with like artistic mentality as well, because sometimes artists just want to like retire and sit on the beach and just paint. Like they don't want to give it that drive and that energy. So sometimes like maybe those two components, it's rarer than you think for them to be connected.
Yeah. The way I explain it to someone online, my conversations are usually on Twitter, but it's like I treat it as like if you have you're an artist, and you, the relationship, it should be like a relationship, like it's a person you love, right? Yeah. And it's like you don't give up. There'll be hard stuff in the relationship, like downs and ups and downs and shit, but you don't give up on the relationship because it's meaningful. It's like it's something you have to work hard on, and that's how it is with that. And people can't connect the two because it's like, oh, it's not a physical person or anything. But trust me, if art is your dedication, it's literally taking up more time than you think in your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's like people sort of with their jobs and stuff like that already dedicate like a certain amount of time each week to something that they might not even be that interested in. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to understand why people wouldn't want to put a bit of time into something they maybe enjoy, but it's a tough one, man. I've never completely worked it out, like as to, you know, why sort of, you know, I have done well or like, I mean, I know why, but it's like, you know, I know I'm different to most people, but everybody's different to each other. That's the thing. Like everybody is their own unique person. But I guess within myself, I just had a certain bunch of components that just worked really well for this, you know. If it wasn't art, I don't think I could make it work outside of art. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't art, because that drives the passion and the drive. Yeah. If it was something else, I don't know if I would have pushed as hard. Yeah. You know, because I might not have enjoyed it as much.
I'm on the same boat. Like I always think about the what if moments. Yeah. If I wasn't doing art, what would I be doing? Yeah. It's like, and I remember my old jobs where I stayed 4 years, 5 years. Yeah. I used to work at Ford Motor Company and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I would still be there miserable or still be there like just doing that, chopping away. Because I remember back then I was like thinking about, I want to save up for a house, and you know, I would never imagine I'll buy a house like or live by myself or doing all this stuff until I was successful in art. Yeah, yeah, and I'm thankful for it, and it's like that's even the hard days now. I still remember back then, so I can keep driving myself to be better in this field.
it's almost like going back to that person that you used to be. Could you imagine looking at yourself now to what you used to be like working in the Ford Motor Company, looking at yourself now? Sometimes it's almost like unbelievable. Like when you're like, fuck, how did that happen?
What a jump. Yeah, it was a jump.
Like I remember during that work, like I used to sketch and draw ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
And there was like, I got to my working phase in life, like at 14, 15, and then I stopped art.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 21 or 22 when I picked up digital art again.
Yeah.
And just fell in love with it. And ever since then, like I quit Ford at a certain point, and there was a 5-year period where I was like broke, and my mum helped me out.
Yeah.
Like helped me stay afloat. But yeah, they were the darkest times, but I didn't give up on it because
that's a long time as well.
Yeah.
To sort of try push through, and most people would give up 10 times over.
I gave a few times in that period, but it's just I had nothing else. There was no real
backup.
There was no real plan B, so it's like keep dishing it out.
Well, sometimes that's a good move as well, because when you put yourself in a situation where it's win or lose, you've got no option but
to win,
to go ahead and give it a go, because you're like, there's nothing else.
So when I got my first gig with, I think it was Nike, I got a good payout from that, and it's like straight away I just gave it to my mother. It's like she helped me out with cameras and computers and all that sort of stuff. And from then, like I started doing like entertainment work just for free, just putting it online, just to what's called. And that's when it blew up, and I started getting paid by studios and stuff, and it got me all the way to this point here.
I literally remember that period, and sort of, I know it's like quite common now, everybody knows this, but like I used to look at it and I'm like, actors are going to you as the back door.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to go to you to sort of like do the concept work for the character or whatever. And like a lot of people got their roles because of you.
A lot of stuff was happening in the background. It's like they'll pitch me their idea, and I would put it out there as like fan art.
Yeah.
And like a handful got the gigs.
And how crazy is that?
Yeah, it's like surreal. And
do you find that still happening?
It still does happen, but it's like probably less now. More so because I think casting, like people casting, they usually either already have the cast already set before the movie comes out. Yeah. And I think the directors have more say in who they're picking now. Yeah. So you see it less, but it still does happen.
Yeah, because it almost have to happen so early where they're not sort of set in stone, where they could be like, oh, fucking hell, that's like cool. If they just see it and they're like, perfect. Yeah. Then
when it becomes like fan service, like you see an actor go viral as this thing, and it's like they pick it just because it went viral. That's kind of almost a problem as well these days. True. Because if you just pick them because fans want them and they're not suited for the role, you kind of committed to something that's not really that great. Yeah.
And it might be damaging to the film because like it might be a good look. The person might look the part, but they might not act the role or whatever, and it might be slightly off kilter to what the director wants.
So Ahsoka, there's Ahsoka one, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
It's like at every show she would like call out how she got the job, and she would like name me by name, like at these things. Yeah. And it's like that's the craziest thing. People were like, hey, we're at this con, and she mentioned your name. Is this you? I'm like, okay, yeah. It's like, but apparently the director of the show saw the picture and it's like straight away went to her. Yeah. It's like, wow. That's crazy.
I also remember seeing you pop up on, was it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Fucking
No,
Jimmy
Fallon?
Fallon?
It was Jimmy Fallon, yeah. Yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Bosslogic.
Yeah. People were still...
Bosslogic? Yeah.
I was like, as soon as I watched it, it's like, oh, this is cool. Then it kept going. I'm like, oh, God, this is not cool.
Oh,
this is not cool. But it was cool as in like, the whole story.
At least he got the other account out of it too. He did the...
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's a cool account as well.
Yeah, very cool, man. Very cool. It's very cool to see this level of success, and obviously see you enjoying yourself and where things are at now, and bringing your boys along with you too. Like it must be super cool to sort of just sometimes have that little moment of reflection and celebration, just to be like, fuck yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's like as well, like you lift up the people you work with too, and it's like there's no point of getting somewhere and you're like by yourself. No. Yeah, so you need the people that resonate with you, that help you lift you up, and also they're creative. So yeah,
that's epic, man. It's so good, so good. So
I just say dumb things. He's creative. So
yeah, you say dumb things that keep the podcast going. So it's good.
I wanted to ask you, what would you say is your actual end goal with the work you're doing now? Do you have?
You said you have 10-year intervals.
Yeah.
Do you mark 10 years?
Man,
on this as well?
It's coming up November. So November is 10 years for Jack of the Dust. Yeah. So like, I'm definitely starting to reflect on like where I want to go, where I want to be. Definitely, I think I would love to like work with movies more. Like, I think that would be something very fulfilling just to be a part of. So I think that's definitely on the cards. So I think maybe come November or even like now, I might even just start putting a little bit more work into that. Also now, like up until 10 years, like the growth has been like so crazy and it's been so much work trying to run Jack of the Dust and try to run the crew. And now we have an ops manager. So he's actually my old boss from Riviera.
Oh, that's sick, yeah.
So this guy, Bruno, he's an absolutely wicked dude. I've known him for so long and I've never seen him get angry. Like I've seen like, you know, apprentices and people like just flip off the radar, go nuts. And he's just so cool, man. Yeah. He's just so cool and so happy. Like he's such a happy guy and he can really sort of deflect sometimes bad situations that happen and just keep a positive environment. Do you know what I mean? So I think
you need that person.
Well, that's what I wanted. And like, I knew that like management isn't my best ability. I felt like if I kind of moved into management and pulled away from artwork, I don't think Jack of the Dust would sort of grow. Yeah. So I was like, for us to grow, I need to take on somebody that can handle management in a way that I think is positive for the business.
Yeah.
And Bruno has been just so good for taking care of the crew and making everybody feel like sort of loved and taken care of, whilst I kind of like jump off the radar and go work on artwork. Like when I'm sculpting, man, I just want to be on another planet. Like I just want to kind of like shut the door, put on some music, focus on what I'm working on and just really get into that creative flow state.
That's the best.
So it was hard to separate those two because it got to a point where like I almost couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I had to sort of maybe just come in on weekends when no one was around and, you know, so it's working quite well now. And the next 10 years will be pretty exciting. I mean, generally, like I said before, like I don't have an end goal because I've actually done that before. I've had an end goal and then I'm like, now what? Yeah. I kind of felt myself like in a little bit of a limbo, like because I've been running so hot for so long, and then I hit the goal. I took ownership of my first building, and I was like, now what?
Yeah.
You go from redlining to doing nothing, and I'm just like, and then I was just like, fuck, man, I just don't think I want to stop. Like I think
that's how it is.
What's healthy for me is to always look for that next pillar. I feel like if I stop, that just wouldn't be healthy for me as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say stop. I would say like try to fulfill something else you want to do, but I think you still grow Jack of the Dust.
Yeah.
Because I think Jack of the Dust keeps growing to the point where it becomes like even though it's still limited, it becomes like, you know, like Kid Logic. You know, Kid Logic that they would release, but they become a manufacturing, they become like exclusive toy or exclusive thing where companies will work with you. Yeah. I think your growth there still has a whole bunch of potential in that.
I think so too, because that's something that we haven't done. Like I haven't actually worked with another company or a brand to create a product or something like that, or a piece of artwork that is like limited or, you know, so look, I definitely still feel like I want to dip my toe into that collaboration pool and give it a crack and see how it works, because we might be able to come up with something like really cool and it might be exciting. I don't know. I've never done it. So I don't know how that experience is going to like pan out, but like I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah. I think it's like for the next step of growth, I think that like collaborations is what people do. It connects you to like different audiences.
Yeah.
And you're huge already. Like you got big social reach, you got a big fan base, but it's like now like I knew people know you, but I didn't know people know you that much, because I get random messages saying like, oh, he's in Melbourne now, or he's in this, you should definitely get him on a podcast. Like, random people. Like they're not even like you're part of your crew. So just somebody reaching out. Somebody reaching out. And
that's
it's like
sick to have.
That's the thing. You have that base, and you might be, I don't know how big you are in the States or other countries.
Man, it's like all in the States.
Yeah, all in the States?
You know, I would say, funny enough, you would think it would be different, but something like 5% is in Australia.
That's me too. It's like Australians don't like Australian artists.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Give us some support.
It's like I was actually flown out to San Diego Comic-Con before I was like reached out to Australia.
To your local Comic-Cons, yeah.
Like, and it wasn't until I was known there that I was known here.
100%, because I feel like Australia, just in general, also watches what's happening in America. Like, even with all our shows, like, you know, when I went over to America, I had an understanding of what things might be like, because I watched the shows, I watched the movies, my whole life, I watch American-made things.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the reverse way. It's like Americans probably don't know much about Australia, apart from chucking a shrimp on the barbie.
One of those. Honestly, that's how it is.
And the majority questions are, would the spiders kill us?
Yeah, that's the main
I hate
thing.
that question so much.
Oh man, just how everything's so dangerous. I'm like, it's not that bad.
It's not.
It's
Honestly,
not that bad.
it's not there.
I
don't know where they get their stories. Honestly, if you're gonna look for these things, then you'll find them. Sure,
because
but if you're living,
because when they Google Australia, they're looking like in the outback, and that's all they're looking at. It's like, you tell them you're from the city,
and the shows too. I think the Australian shows are generally like sort of crocodile hunters or whatever and stuff like that, showing like snakes, crocs, like just all the wild shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that bad, man.
oh my god,
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I keep have to convince them that it's the little spiders that kill you, not the big spiders.
Dead set, eh?
Yeah, it's like, and they don't understand. And I was like, okay, no worries.
they're always like that, and it's always the shrimp on the barbie thing too. Always.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Aussie, shrimp on the barbie. Man.
Oh man,
Thanks,
and it's so old as well.
Oh,
it's so old. The Crocodile Dundee, man, that's like, I don't know, like 80s or something like that. So I don't know
think
how that
anyone says
still
shrimp on
has
the
that
Barbie.
like clout. And
I've never heard anyone say it like shrimp on the barbie, like actually saying it normally.
Well, I looked into it, and it was actually a campaign that Australia did to try bring Americans over to Australia.
Ah,
So
okay, that makes
it was
sense. Then.
Paul Hogan did an ad. He's like, come on over. I'll chuck a shrimp on the barbie for you. And it's like, it's this little. So he got blasted in America to try to bring them over.
Then that adds up.
Then there was that other ad that America made us pull down, the where the bloody hell are you? Yeah,
100%.
because we had an ad that some chick, I think it was a model or something. She goes, "Where the bloody hell are you?"
Yeah.
To the people to come to America,
Yeah.
from America to Australia, and they made us like delete.
They
that.
just don't like that word, that bloody.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
It's like, bloody hell is apparently.
Well, it's just so common over here, but they just hear blood over there. They're like,
oh
Jesus.
god. Yeah,
Even though, like, I don't know.
Do not bring it up. I thought
so
you were going to bring up stuff about America's like, situation.
Dare,
No.
dare get political.
No, I wasn't.
Don't
No. It wasn't. I wasn't even gonna say that.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention some sort of pew stuff. Don't do it.
I was about to say bloody hell, but I stopped myself. But now I just said it. There you go.
Oh man, yeah, I did a couple of podcasts, like, but just through Zoom.
Yeah.
And the PR guy that I was working with, he's like, talk slow. He's like, they don't understand Australians. And he's also like, don't swear. And I'm like, yep, fair. And like, I finished one. The guy's like, can't use it. He swore too much. I'm like,
Can't you just bleep it out?
Can you just bleep it out?
oh
That's what
no,
we need.
man! Sometimes it just comes out, and I don't even realize, but it's just me being me,
That's
and I'm
you,
like,
exactly.
But
that's
like,
what you want. You want to be natural on these
podcast,
things.
A podcast.
yeah,
So, unless you're on a Disney podcast, like, or something like a company.
yeah.
If you're on a podcast and they invite you as a guest, they should let you be you, because it's like they're getting you.
Yeah, well, I mean, a podcast is where you're supposed to be a little bit more organic, and you can be natural. You can just chat with each other, have a bit of fun, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, it's going to be produced by you, so it's like, if you don't want swearing, like, all for it. That's what I asked when I come in. I'm like, do you want me to turn this down? 'Cause I know how bad I can be.
We're fine with it, honestly.
Yeah.
But
We haven't even noticed any swearing. You've probably been swearing, but we haven't noticed.
Honestly, but it's like, because while you're
Under the radar.
you're doing it naturally, and like, you're not really being natural, because in the back of your head you're saying like, oh, I don't want to swear.
Well, I suppose it happens
That's
when
what I'm
you're just kind of passionate as well.
Yeah.
When you're passionate, I guess that language kind of just comes
Exactly.
out. You know, because, you know, if you're passionate, generally, like, you're a bit more high energy about something.
Well,
so.
if you grew up in Australia and you're talking amongst friends and stuff, and I'm pretty sure you talk with your boys like this, there's always that, instead of we say fuck or shit.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where we're at. It's like,
100%.
and we don't even tell. Like, I'll be talking to my niece, and she's like 6. I throw in swear words in there, and I don't notice, and my sister's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm like, oh, did I say something? She said like 8.
Oh, I should have said 9 then.
I should have said 9.
But that's the thing. And then, like, my nephew just sometimes says the words I say, and I'm like, crap.
And it just gets that way when you spend a lot of time with your mates as well. Like, when I'm not sort of doing artwork, I play a lot of basketball just to sort of keep my fitness up, keep myself happy, because I sit down a lot at work. So, and when you're out on the court with like 10, 15 of your mates or whatever playing basketball, and you're getting heated.
You're always going off at each
I'm
other.
going off, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going off. Like, I'm not even that great at basketball, but nobody celebrates as hard as I do, man. fuck yeah, I'm just like, wow.
Do you actually watch basketball?
Man, I'm funny like that. I don't like to watch a lot of basketball, but I absolutely love to play it. So I love to play it, but I don't watch a lot of it.
Do you go for any team or anything like that?
Not really, no. Like I'm a bit funny like that, man. Like I think F1 is the only thing that I've actually started to pay attention to. Like watching, I kind of just I don't know why I just lose my attention span.
Yeah.
Footy as well.
Same for footy. But fuck, I just love playing basketball, man.
Basketball's fun.
The endorphins are running high when I'm out there. It's good.
It's good running, good exercise.
Yeah, well, I'm 37, man. So starting to get a little bit of salt and pepper going on in the hair. So I'm trying to keep myself tight. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. As long as you're enjoying it, at least you're getting free time as well. That's
good. Well, it's definitely important to sort of enjoy every aspect of life. And I love playing basketball. I love playing Call of Duty. So generally, like my routine through the week is like we'll have about maybe four mates online, jump on the headsets, 8 o'clock, bro. 8 o'clock, bro. Everybody's put the kids to bed, jump on.
That's respect.
And it's just talking shit.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Sometimes it can get pretty bloody loud.
I want to experience it one day. I just want to see it.
Oh, man.
Because COD gets the worst out of you for everyone. I've seen so many.
It fucking does. Like, I'm actually, like, pretty good when I'm not doing so well. I'm pretty good because I expect that.
Yeah.
But, like, as soon as I get a win, I'm just, like, electric, man. I'm just, like, I'll light up the mic, so everyone's just, like, taking them off.
Because you know you're not good, so for you to win, you're
the win's even better, bro. The
win's
even better. Like, for me, if I get into double digits, it's on, bro. I'm screaming.
What do you play? Like Warzone more or multi?
No, mainly TDM, team
TDM?
deathmatch, a little bit of kill confirmed, search and destroy, but mainly TDM is what we all sort of get onto. And fuck, man, I just love it. It's so much fun.
Your favorite game, COD?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like obviously, God of War was like super epic for a single.
I just started playing that.
It's so good. It's so good. As a single player campaign game, which I love because they're almost like an extension of a movie.
Yeah.
Not only do you get to watch the cinematics play out, you get to be a part of it. And even in number 2 Ragnarok, like I was almost dropping tears in that first scene with the wolf.
Yeah.
Are you played Ragnarok? No, have you played Ragnarok yet?
None of us have played.
I'm a fighting game player, as you can tell. I'm
very
quiet.
Ready to punch on. Ready to punch on.
Yeah, I just started playing it recent. Like I'm starting to get into it slowly.
So
hopefully I'll smash them out.
It's a big game. So very cinematic, but I
enjoyed it. So you like the single players as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like I love that sort of cinematic aspect where you get to sort of watch this journey and story unfold, but then you get that extra level of kind of being in it as well. So especially like God of War, like they did an absolutely fantastic job of creating those cinematics as well. So because I love movies so much, like God of War to me is just like very much in line with that sort of experience. So I loved it. I could easily sit down for like 5 hours or something like that and just pump through it, man. It was so good. So good.
Do you kind of take inspiration from
for sure. Like I just did a Mimir piece.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man, I just love that
That's
game so
one of my
much.
favorite ones, honestly. I love it.
I was surprised. It's gone so viral. It's actually been our #1 post on Instagram. So it's had the most amount of reach out of everything we've done so far. I think it was about 7 or 8 million people the sculpting video reached. And when I kind of played the game, obviously I loved them both so much. And Mimir is so in line with what I do that I just couldn't not do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a head.
Yeah.
That's literally all I do.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, man, I've just got to do this thing. And I started sculpting it. And I don't know if you've ever seen the character before, but the horns are so intricate, just so intricate that like it was so tough to sculpt those horns. I'm stoked I just got through that. Like it was just such a tough job. Just getting
it's good that it paid off.
Getting the shakes as well. And it was good. It was super good. So definitely influenced by like the games I played, the movies I watch, all that sort of stuff, man. Like, I've just got so many things I want to do. I feel like there's almost not enough time to hash out all these ideas. And if having a crazy imagination, sometimes the game is just trying to get it all out of your head.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, to me, I feel like I'm a little bit of a completionist. Like, I feel like I get a little bit edgy when it's in my head. I just need to get it out, sculpt it, paint it, and
see the final result.
That's where a lot of sculptors kind of suffer, is that they do the fun part, which is like the sculpting, and then they stop at molding because they don't know what to do. If you've watched any of the molding videos, like you see people say like your molding is almost like an artwork in itself. So I feel like some sculpting artists kind of do that sculpting stage and they stop.
Yeah.
because they're like, I'm a sculptor, I'm not a mold maker, or I'm not a painter. So they kind of just stop there and the artwork stops there. Like I feel like you need to run it through that process to hash out the paint job to complete the piece. When I do a piece and it's just in clay, to me, it's halfway there.
Yeah.
Like, until you put color on that, it's not finished.
That's the main thing. Yeah, the color.
100%. It brings the piece alive, and you know, having a bit of fun with trying different paint jobs, because it's endless. Paint is literally endless. I could paint the same piece 1,000 times in different colorways and stuff like that. So it's very exciting to try and work out new techniques and things to add realism as well, because I'm trying to offer almost a special effects style of piece where you pick it up and there's different textures, there's different tones, there's high gloss, there's matte, there's textures. I want to give people, they look at it and they'll be like, this is cool. Yeah. Like this has got so much interest. It's like off a movie set is what I'm trying to give. Yeah.
I like to see, I was seeing as well that you like the color gold a lot.
Love it.
Is that your favorite color out of all the colors?
I would say it's
you use it a
lot. Like
it looks good. It genuinely goes with most of the colors.
It's like our staple.
Yeah.
Like I think even when I first started Jack of the Dust, I had a lot of black and gold. So it just became like a bit of a staple as to like what we do. So generally every piece there'll be like a gold version
it's good.
with something else in it.
Yeah.
And the gold that we use is just so fucking fantastic. We get it from a guy in the States. It's called Alumiluster, and the process is quite in depth. Like you have to prime it gray, spray it black, spray it 2K automotive gloss, then spray it with a silver Alumiluster, which is like a silver nitrate in a liquid or something. And then you spray another 2-pack over that with a tint in it. So it's like a 6-stage process just to get this gold, but it just looks
looks amazing. Yeah, that's
so good, and it's worth it.
Yeah,
most people won't want to put in the work to get that level of gold, but
it makes it stand out more. Even in the sun, they look so good in the sun with that color.
And because they're automotive as well, they'll last forever.
Yeah.
So it's like you can wash it with like Windex and stuff like that. So we used to have a gold that if you cleaned it, it would dull.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get past that, trying to give people a quality piece that would like last forever, not like you clean it once and then it kind of diminishes the color of it. So we got that, and 100%, man. That's like a staple. Like everything's gold.
It's a good staple.
Dip
color,
everything
honestly.
in gold.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of my favorite colors as well.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, do you have a favorite piece that you worked on personally?
Yeah, I would say right now it's definitely the Octo Skull. So I don't know if you guys have like seen that piece. I talked a little about it before, but so to make that, it was like so complex, and it's almost something I didn't want to offer to the public because it was so expensive to make that it kind of has like the octopus, the blue-ringed octopus, which is an Australian sort of octopus as well. It has the skull, but then you have to mold each individual leg and then connect it all together, join them, make it look seamless. And the process is so in depth that I was just like, well, I'm just going to do it because I want to make it.
Yeah.
And it was just so expensive. Like in Australian dollars, it works out to be about $5,000. And usually that is beyond the price point that I like to stick to because I like to keep it attainable. But for this piece, I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, you want to go
let's just fucking go nuts. And it just looks so electric. Like, the paint job, we managed to get like a blue glow from the rings on it, which was quite tough, and it took a lot of experimentation. But even if you look at it in person, it's very electric. It's very bright. It's very poppy. It's very in depth. And it's just pushed our limits with our shop as far as we can go. Well, not as far as we go. I feel like we could go further.
Yeah.
But then you start pushing into that unattainable range.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure if we got something manufactured overseas, we could probably do it more affordable, but I haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Yeah.
So we make everything in-house.
Yeah, because you're happy with your
So that piece, what do you do? Is it like a centerpiece for your house or office?
So I've got a couple of them at the shop. We have made them for people out of request. There's like an arms dealer in Dubai that has one. I'd say the most of them are in Dubai.
Yeah.
So I think we probably have about 3 or 4 of them in Dubai. And we're actually making a run of them now.
Have you been to Dubai?
No, I would love to.
I think you should. If you got like a person that's an arms dealer as well, that's
I would love to, man. I would love to travel a bit more, and it was great to even just come down to Melbourne and see you and meet you in person, which is so good because I've been following you for such a long time, so it was like so cool to meet you and actually have a chat with you guys because I feel like I am such a face-to-face person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can't really get my personality through text.
The same as me. I feel like that as well.
I've got thumbs of a bricklayer.
Yeah.
Like if I'm talking to someone, I'm like, hey, man, what emoji am I
What
looking
emoji?
for here?
Yeah. It's too complex. It's too complex.
It is, and that's probably one of the reasons. Well, I don't really, but I'm trying to show myself a bit more through social media these days, just because I understand that that's the only way you can get my personality is that, and an honest version of my personality is just to jump on stories every now and then and just go, hey guys.
That's literally one of the reasons we did a podcast. Like a lot of people don't know who I am and like how to communicate and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how to communicate. This is why I communicate with people.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's easier to talk to people. And this is why I did the podcast, like for people like you and everything.
Yeah.
Come have a chat.
Yeah.
And we can like literally hash it out and talk about things.
It's a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to just come here, have a chat. You know, you're just not going to get that experience through talking through messages or talking any other way. And it's good for people to have an introduction to who you are and more in depth.
Yeah.
You know, so it's actually been really good to see you guys like show your face a bit more through, you know, your podcast, because you are so successful within what you do and people look up to you for what you do. And it's nice for people to know who you are as well, not just what you produce. Yeah. Because, you know, sometimes you just get known for your work. Yeah. It's same with me, man.
And along the way, they like get inspired by us. They like watching what we do, but we bring on people to learn more from, such as yourself. Yeah. In a different niche. Yeah. Like you're in art, but you're...
Yeah, slightly different skew, and it's also very good to see Australians doing something good, because, and even being so popular outside of Australia is, you know, there's not a lot of people within Australia that are really just crushing it. So it's nice to see some people sort of, you know, get a little bit further or just, you know, sort of reach that pinnacle that you think most Australians might not. Yeah. So it is nice to obviously do something, but also it's quite you know, proud to be an Australian as well and make this work.
That's why I noticed that people in Australia show most support. So when we're there, when we're in America and and Americans are giving us praise, the Australians are like, "Oh, you did it for us." It's
Go
like,
the Aussies.
That's it. They love you. You're on their team over there.
100%.
But when you're here, you don't exist.
No, exactly.
We've been to a couple of events where he'll be at the event and they're like, "Oh, thank you for coming to Australia." It's like, I am from Australia.
I'm literally speaking. I'm speaking in this accent. And they're like, "So how long you stay in Australia for?" It's like they think I'm American. I'm like, one person got me. I forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot her name. But she got me a box of like Tim Tams and everything Australian.
Oh my god! I'm
like, thank you so much. And
Tim Tams, Vegemite.
I appreciate it so much. But it's like literally, I've been in Melbourne for like 36 years.
She gives you Vegemite, and she's like, "Now be careful, be careful. It's very strong, very strong. Just a little bit, a lot of butter. It's like telling you how to do it. Like, come on now. It's not Nutella.
Tim Tams are our staple. I'm like, sure, there.
Yeah. I know. All right, they're great. Oh,
I don't even want. I've recently, for some reason, there's been a lot of Vegemite videos on my like TikTok feed or something, and there'll be like people eating it with a spoon, and they're like, "Oh, I'm like, that's not how you eat."
I know.
Put it on toast.
Do you know why it's a challenge? It's like
no, it's not even a challenge. No, they're just like, I've been told to try this. I'm like, why are you trying it?
I've seen Americans. It's like, oh, you have to try this as a challenge. And like, they get a spoonful of Vegemite and they eat it. It's like, some of them this is bad. I'm like.
But some of them are genuinely. You have to have it on toast, guys. You have to have it on toast. It's amazing on toast. I'm telling you,
it's horrible on everything.
It's not. Yeah. It's so good on toast.
and Vita Wheat crackers.
Yes,
you know when you push it together and you get those little buttery Vegemite noodles that come through it. Yes. Get onto it.
I can't do it. I can't.
It's the best. It's one of the best.
Vita Wheats is like the number 2. Like just those little crackers with the holes in them. Born for it, bro. Born for it. Please give it a go.
Kind of going back to the topic of putting yourself out there. I was kind of curious. Did you make the decision that you kind of wanted to be anonymous when you first got into Jack of the Dust? And like, if that was the case, at what point when you're like, I'm going to make the transition to put myself out there?
And what's the reason you went anonymous?
Yeah. Well, funny enough, it actually wasn't even a decision. Like I was kind of like, it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't even a thought. Yeah, it just happened, I was just kind of just like focusing on the art. So I actually didn't kind of make a conscious decision to go hidden. I kind of just like would naturally put my attention onto the artwork. And like, I mean, even in the early days, I would still pop up like here and there, But like, I've never been, the one to just want the attention. Like, I'm not becoming an artist to be like, everybody look at me. I'm becoming an artist because I fucking love what I do. Yeah. And like, all of my attention is on the artwork. And when it's done, I'm like, fuck yeah, how cool is this? Or how cool is that? And like, so it actually wasn't a decision to become anonymous, but I guess that's just how it like kind of played out. And then after a while, like, I'm starting to realize, and I'm like, fuck, maybe I should like show myself a bit more often than usual. I'm like, because it's starting to get a bit of traction now, and I don't think anybody even bloody knows who I am. Yeah. Apart from the people that come to my shop that are locals. Yeah. So the locals will come through and we'll have a good chat and we'll have a laugh and we'll show them through, and, you know, and then I kind of realized that, like, if you're not local, you're not getting any of that. Yeah. So I thought, fuck, we might as well just like put some more attention into just, and even still now, man, you don't see much. Like, I'll probably just pop up on like stories. The PR guy has done some articles and stuff like that. But still, I feel like all this PR stuff is not as authentic as I wanted to. Like, I wanted to give it a crack, but, you know, I feel like in the PR world, they kind of want to mold you to what their maybe their customers want. So like, my intention was to show myself a bit more and be honest. But I feel like through that PR route, like, maybe you didn't get the complete sort of, you know, story. So I'm like, the best way for me to show myself, just jump on stories every now and then, maybe like jump on a post every now and then or something like that. But, you know, it's the decision wasn't to sort of just show myself. I think people would get a lot out of it, sort of just seeing that, you know, I'm probably just a normal Australian guy, like, you know, and most people are probably surprised that, you know, I'm not exactly covered with tattoos. You know, I'm not exactly like a death metal type of a character, even though I'm wearing all black today. Usually it's not the case. But so it's nice for people to see who is behind, you know, Jack of the Dust. Like, all I do is skulls, man. You can imagine that if you didn't know who I was, you'd be like, this guy's dark, bro. This guy's really dark.
Has no skulls at his house, but he's dark.
I know. So that's a rule of the house. There's no skulls at the house. Well, there is a couple, but yeah. So I just keep them all at the shop. So when I go to my new shop, the studio, you'll see it's filled with them. So, but also I think it's good to sometimes add a little bit of balance. Like, both my shops and my life is dedicated to like skulls, so it's nice to sometimes go to a place where that isn't like in the forefront. So it's almost like I can, when I go home, I can step away from it and, you know, focus on basketball and Call of Duty, and
you don't take local work with you home.
100%.
That's a different lifestyle.
So this is an odd question. You said you do, if someone wanted to do a commission, you would do it. So someone had a special request and got you a real skull, like a real one.
I've got a real skull.
You've got a real skull?
I've got a real skull. It's funny that you mentioned that. But yeah, I actually had somebody give it to me from America. So like, I think back in the day when I used to post people's artwork a little bit more often, he's like, hey man, like, thanks for the repost. Like, I'll send you a present. And I'm like, I knew it was going to be a skull because that's all he sold. Yeah. And it rocked up and it just fucking freaked me out because, like, I think it was over 200 years old, because when a skull is over 200 years old, you can sell them. So there's actually a market for selling human skulls, real human skulls. We still have it in the shop today, and it's still creepy. I was just looking at it the other day. I was like, man, this actually used to be a person, and it's just sitting on my desk. And I'm like, it's actually their skull, like, it's the bone.
So that's the question. If someone gets you a real skull and asks you for a modification, is that something you draw the line on? Or?
I would probably draw the line there. Yeah. Like, I would be happy to maybe like hash out some sort of a concept if it was with a brand or something like that. Yeah. But, you know, everything that I work in with is like resin and paint, you know? So it's like, yeah, I'm working with skulls, but it's not real. Like, I'm working with materials and clay and paint and stuff like that. So, you know, to me, it's not crossing that threshold of this actually used to be a person, and it might be a little bit demeaning to the person that it used to be a part of.
That's true. And you probably get haunted.
True.
Get cursed. Your shop will get cursed, bro. It's not worth it.
Oh man, but yeah, I have got it, and it was a weird day, but we've
because I've been to like certain like museums and shit, and I see like real skulls, and I always like seeing real skulls always freaks me out. Yeah.
It does, because it's just such a strange concept to know that is under the skin, and that is going to be happening to not to get too fucking green. But this is going to happen to everyone. You know, like, everybody dies, so it's like we're all going to like come down to that eventually. But you know, it's a nice little indicator as to what we should do with our life, to know that you know, we're all going to die, no matter fucking how great we are or how fucking whatever. You know, everybody fucking dies.
Life is life. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get the most out of my experience here and just try to do things that I enjoy and, you know, just try to enjoy the ride because that's all you can do, man. You don't want to look back and be like, fuck, I wish I should have done this and I wish I should have done that. Like I'm looking back right now and I'm very happy. Like I'm very happy and grateful of where I'm at right now. And I don't have any regrets.
Yeah.
And I just want to continue that. Like, so I want to continue into the future. I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, maybe I'm like, oh, I regret not spending more time with my friends or more time with my family or focusing on things that I enjoy outside of artwork.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know where the road leads, but I just want to try to be a little bit aware of like what I'm doing.
Balancing.
And, you know, balance.
Yeah.
You know, artwork is super dope and I definitely enjoy it, but it's not 100% of my life.
Of course, yeah.
Like there's sport, there's friends, there's family, there's, you know, just there's a whole world of outside of art, but it is a component that brings me a lot of joy and a lot of fulfillment. I just want to make sure that now that I've got it to a stage that I can put some attention to some other things that I enjoy.
That's good.
Chances are I might fucking regret it if I don't. I'll be like, fuck, man,
Honestly,
I wish I had more fun.
Yeah,
I wish I fucking laughed more.
Exactly.
Like,
You should be like that. You should have a work life and a social life. That's it. Half.
100%.
Does having a team like kind of help with that? Like, are you less hands-on than you used to be, would you say?
For sure. I mean, like when we first started, I used to do everything from top to tail. So when I was living in my little duplex, like I had a 4-bedroom house, right? And I was making everything out of this house. So I would have one room that would hold the skulls, one room that was postage. I'd like do artwork in the lounge. I would spray paint outside when everybody else went home. And then every time I took on another person to help us out, it just relieved the weight off me a little bit more each time. And right now is probably the best it's ever been, to the point where we've got an absolutely fantastic team. It's just an epic bunch of guys and girls. Like it's such a good shop. There's such a good vibe. Everybody's having fun. And it's like, also we're doing it in a healthy way too. Like, yes, it is very hard to keep a business like this, keeping, you know, positive and moving forward. So it's like, I gotta balance between growth and being too aggressive, because it can put stress on the team. So I have to kind of like manage that balance, which is where the ops manager helps.
Yeah.
He helps keep that balance, you know, to the point where he's making sure that we're running at a healthy pace, so everybody's enjoying themselves. We're still seeing a bit of growth. But yeah, these days it's definitely a lot easier. You know, I still sculpt. I still do mold making. I'll do a little bit of casting, not a lot of casting. I'll do the paint jobs as well. We also have Stephen that does the paint jobs as well. Stephen Ward is like another talented artist that works with us, and he's been with me for about 5 years, and he understands like how I paint, and you know, he can sort of add his little flair to it as well. So when it comes to bringing out a new piece, I might give him a couple, I'll have a couple, we'll hash it all out. We might grab some bits off his, bits off mine, mend it together. But these days, yeah, I'm doing a little bit of everything, but the team definitely helps to keep it still functional. You know, it's a big planet, and it's like, it becomes a bottleneck. If everything ran through me, nobody would be able to get the artwork. It would just be very, very small releases. So they definitely help me sort of supply the world. Because fuck, man, like the orders just keep coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're trying to keep quality, and you just need that manpower to make sure that things get the correct amount of attention. They get QCs as well. We have like QC gates to make sure that things don't pass to the next stage. If there's a casting defect, it goes back. So we kind of have to draw that line at quality sort of thing. So it's going really well. It's good. These days it's definitely a lot more balanced, which I'm like super, super grateful for, because I get to sort of enjoy the journey a little bit.
Any artist or any artist that becomes like an art director, or, you know, a person that runs the thing, always wants that end goal to have like a dope team.
100%.
As soon as you have a dope team under you, it's like everything gets done. It's like it's still your work, because you're the one that signs off on it, and it has to be to your standards. So it's great that you have a
Well, it is, man. And let's be real, like you spend like maybe 70%, maybe 50% of your life working. So it's nice to have good people around you as well, and good people that are on the same page. You know, if you're all on the same page, life is easy. You're all heading the same direction. Whereas if you get people that are maybe just a little bit against the direction of that you're going in, which is fine, because people are like that. People have different aims and goals and whatever. But it's nice when everybody, it's just a super, super nice feeling when everybody comes together. We're all on the same page. We're all moving in the same direction. That is just a really cool feeling for anybody, I would say.
It's good that you're less stressful though. That's
Yeah,
the main thing.
man. Too, bro.
Way more time for basketball now.
I know. It's so good. So like I play on 2 teams during the week. Actually, one team now, and one's wrapped up. And then we just play casual on Sunday. So like Sunday is like super fun.
Oh, you play for an actual team and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's like a C grade team.
Yeah.
But we get in. It's all reffed. There's other teams that we verse, and we've gotten to the championships and stuff like that. Like
sick.
it's so good. It's nice to play casual and enjoy it, but then also have like the refs in there and you're playing for real.
Yeah.
So it's hard, man. It's hard. Like basketball is just like doing the beep test.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah,
as soon as 40-minute comes on, you're like bang, bang,
running up
bang.
and down, up and down, up and down. Oh, don't even start on the beep test.
It's
I hated
tough.
that.
It's tough.
I hated the beep test so much,
tough.
man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But yeah, definitely.
And if you sucked at the beep test, you'd hear it for the whole year from every classmate.
I know.
Going back to free time and like you, person that enjoys movies, have you been watching these new movies that have been coming out, or
no,
you haven't?
no, not at the minute. Like I guess I'm just waiting for them to come out on streaming services and stuff like that. That's probably where I'll catch them. I haven't been going to the movies as much as I like to. I guess I just haven't got anyone to go with at the minute, and I just can't bring myself to go to the movies by myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, I'm happy.
I've been doing that recently. Honestly, it's not bad.
Yeah, because you have to catch up.
Yeah,
and
I have to catch up.
You don't go on the times we go. That's why.
I'm at work.
He's
I
at
can't.
work when we go,
True.
and he just goes.
I
in the
go
morning.
like the next day in the morning. I'll watch it, but it's actually kind of fun.
Like
I'm
the
not
next
gonna-
movie we're looking forward to. What is it this
Mario.
week? Mario. This
Next
week?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday.
The Wednesday coming. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
currently you're working on John Wick.
I am working on John Wick and Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
What else?
I've heard a lot of good things about that. I haven't seen it yet.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think it's a dope movie, but it's like I don't want to give too much away, but it's like it kind of the ending finishes too fast. I think it gets to the third act,
Wraps up too quick.
Yeah. But the whole movie, the first and second act, super scary, super in line with the old classics, and it's very gritty and it has like some iconic scenes. I personally loved it.
Yeah. So I guess I've just got to wait for
it's
streaming
very. I don't know if you guys are
and-
watching it together. It's very gory.
Yeah, true. We watch a lot of stuff together, me and Carla, but I think where we come together is probably, it's terrible. I hate that I'm saying this in front of like a lot of people or whatever. Is a trashy TV, man. Like me and Carla come together on like Married at First Sight.
Yeah, I knew it. I was waiting for it.
What are you waiting for?
No,
You watched that shit.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say with
you-
my sisters as well. Exactly.
I could tell when he walked in, this guy watches maths.
Honestly,
I knew I felt the vibe with him.
honestly, it's kind of interesting though.
Yeah,
I'm
look,
not gonna lie. Actually,
man,
kind of interesting.
I don't know why.
I hate
but
admitting it too, but it gets you in. It reels you. I don't know why.
What
but it
happens?
does.
What happens is, let me tell you, if you get pulled into it, is you miss all be watching it.
Yeah.
You're just walking around in the background, in the kitchen or something. And you're like, oh fucking, what did she say to him? That's a bit fucking rough.
Exactly.
And then you sit down, and you realize you're bloody into it, and you're watching it all.
My friend sent me a trailer last week in line with what you guys watch. It's called, I forgot what it's called. It was MILF something, but it's a show about MILFs, right? But here's the twist in the show.
I've heard.
It's like I think 8 guys and 8 women, and they ended up being the women are the mothers of the guys, which they have to switch.
Oh my
between-
god, I've heard
So
about it. I've
weird.
heard
between guys.
about
I'm like,
it.
what is this?
That's so strange, man.
That would be torture to
that would
see
be.
your mum dating one of your mates
Yeah,
or whatever.
or
like,
mating,
But-
dating a random dude in the contest. I'm like, what the?
how do you reckon they all got him into that? Because like, surely they would know going into it that.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Yeah.
Do you want to sign this contract? Just know that your mate over here is probably going to be hooking up with your mum.
I have to know. Like, how are you gonna not know your mum's?
I don't know.
not
I don't know.
MIA?
But, like, I don't know if you guys watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You don't watch
No,
that.
that I don't watch.
Yeah,
no.
I watch.
he's saying
Oh,
it.
you watch it? Oh, really? I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it personally.
I'm
but-
trying to give you guys some honesty
That's all right.
here,
No, I
right?
respect it. Honestly, I respect it.
Don't shame me.
They're actually interesting. I'll give
Yeah,
it to
no,
you.
it is, it
It's
is, it
fair.
is.
They reel you in, man.
I
don't
know. And then apart from that, a lot of crime stuff. We get into like real crime stuff, like Don't Fuck with Cats. I don't know if
Yeah, I've watched
like
that.
that sort of
I've heard about
stuff.
that.
So
That
it's
was
like
good. That was
we
good.
we get together on the trashy stuff, but then we also get together on that sort of like.
Have you guys watched Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
I've
watched
seen
it?
it. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it,
Yeah,
no.
that's such a good documentary.
It is, yeah. So we love good docos together. So we definitely, me and Carla, come together on a lot of different stuff, but it's mainly trashy TV. and sort of grim crime documentaries and stuff like that. Very like polar opposite, but you know, we both love them both.
Yeah, I love the show, but they cancelled it. It's called Mindhunter.
Yeah,
that was so good, and they just cancelled it. I'm like, why'd you cancel it? It was going good.
Yeah,
they just cancelled.
Was that a documentary or
it was a TV series based on like this cop that has to interview like the major killers in the prisons.
Is it kind of all about profiling and stuff like that? Profiling. I remember there was an old movie called Mindhunters. I'm not sure if that was like a version of that, but like I remember Mindhunters, the movie was great, and it was all about profiling. And it was trying to figure out who was what, and you know, generally the guy that you don't expect is the murderer or whatever.
I'll check out the movie. I'll see if it's the same.
Yeah, it's very old, man. Like I was back in the movies, working in the video shop. It's got to be about 10 years ago now. So I was 26. So a long time ago. So the movies were definitely quite different. We were in that little phase of like bringing in Blu-rays. Yeah. And we're kind of like, what do we go? Like HD or Blu-rays? Like there was that little period where people didn't know what to jump to DVDs from. So we'd always stock like maybe 10 DVDs and like 3 Blu-rays or something. And then like Blu-rays just became a thing of the past. And everything's just streaming online. So it's funny to watch how like things evolve and then things just become like sort of irrelevant.
Yeah. And there's like, I wanted to visit that Blockbuster, the last Blockbuster in America, but
was that a bar or something like that?
No, it was
actually just a full functional
store where you can actually rent stuff. They had extra stuff in there, obviously, but it's still a place where you can rent. Yeah, and it's like literally the only one left.
Man, it was a good time back then. Like one thing I was talking about today is that obviously now we have all these streaming services and stuff like that. Everything's at your fingertips and you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. Whereas back when you were younger, everything was on telly and everything had a time slot. So it's like you didn't have an option. Yeah. So when we were kids, like 6 o'clock, Simpsons would come on, bro. Yeah. We would light up.
Cheese TV as well.
Cheese TV, Saturday Disney. But your life kind of revolved almost around a schedule. Yeah. Whereas like now it's almost like overindulgence. Overindulgence. Like I'm on Netflix, like I've watched everything and I'm just like flicking through and it's like I've got that option to now. Whereas before it was just on TV and then there was, you know, you get DVDs, videotapes, VHS. Yeah. If you go out to the movies, and I feel like back then there was just maybe a little bit more hype around things. Right now we're getting flooded with content, and
especially when they release like a movie on cinemas, but you have the option to watch it on streaming, which is weird to me. Yeah.
But it's so nice to see like things like Mandalorian sort of come out one episode a week at a certain time. Yeah. Because it actually makes you look forward to it. And also you and most likely all your mates will watch it at the same time. Yeah. So you can actually chat about it. Whereas like when you have the option, there's no way that you're going to be in line with all your mates or whatever. So it's like after Mando, you can like talk about it the next day, being like, oh man, did you see that
That's
episode?
What I like, the weekly stuff. Like Netflix introduced the whole season at once. I don't like that.
I think it's good.
We got that from like Last of Us. We
like Last of Us. Have you seen The Last of Us?
Yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
So we watched that like weekly and you have that conversation after. And with Netflix, you don't
I feel like that was like really big with like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I think it started like very strong because they always ended on big cliffhangers.
That's the weirdest thing about Netflix nowadays. People are like, as soon as something comes out on Netflix, people are like, oh, I watched it all like straight away.
That's what it is.
Like, that's the bragging right.
It's overindulgence. Yeah. It's like you kind of get fed all this great content and it's like it sucks like waiting, but it actually makes the next episode even better. Whereas if you just pump 10 episodes, you're just like, I'm just going to pump 10.
And there's a higher chance that one of your friends and stuff would have watched the actual one episode 100%. Compared to the whole season.
Yeah, so you can't
really talk about it.
Yeah, like the scene out of Game of Thrones where the Mountain and the Viper, his head got crushed. Like next day, everyone was like, oh my God. Yeah, did you see when he like popped his like bloody head out? Oh man,
and I miss Game of Thrones at its prime, bro.
It was good. It was so good. We have so much content now. Like I've got everything. Like I've got Netflix, Stan, Amazon Prime,
Disney Plus,
Disney Plus, Apple Plus,
streaming service. I think we're paying like $200 for streaming services, $300 a month.
Yeah, so worth though. So worth. If that's like your vice, like which
if that's what you so if that's your go-to, then it's worth. 100%. But I'm just like, everyone's making a streaming service now.
Yeah, I know. So it's like they start to become like a little bit watered down. Yeah. So it's like there's a new streaming service coming out. But like the thing is, yes, it is watered down. But what if they have that one great epic show?
And that's what they do.
That's all they need.
All of them have that one good show.
I think that's what gets you to get on them, man.
Yeah, I think I signed up to one of them because they had the new round of Dexter. Like, so they had the new season of Dexter coming out. I'm like, don't really want to join that streaming service, but I guess now I have to. And like now it's still rolling because I've just like forgotten to sort of like shut it down. But when you go to shut it down, there's always something cool that comes out, and you're just like, fuck yeah, I'll check that out too.
But that's how they get you back, bro.
Yeah, it's so good, man.
Reel you in like maths.
I know.
All the same.
I was literally watching the reunion like last night. And I was getting into it.
Oh man, now I feel like watching it. It's been a while. Honestly,
it's just drama. It's just drama,
it's just
man.
good
Like,
drama,
so I feel like in most people's lives, there's not like a lot of drama. Maybe there is for some people, but you know, when you're watching all this shit unfold, you're like, it's just great because it's not happening to you, but you're still like interested by what's going on. It's like watching a car crash. You're kind of like, ooh, damn.
You know what? I'll probably start watching it just to have conversation with you on these. On these podcasts.
Please do, guys. Please do. Catch a couple episodes. I think it's wrapped up now, so maybe you guys could watch it from start to finish.
Yeah. Love Island, all those things.
Oh man, we got into those as well. Like we've faded off a bit recently, and it was so funny because I seen one of those boxes was on Love Island. Fuck, I forgot his name.
Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury.
Yeah, but that was an old one. That was a
Yeah,
couple of years back.
super old. But I watched it, and I was like,
that was one of the better
I'm
seasons.
like, that boxer looks pretty familiar. I'm like, where do I know him from? And I'm like, oh, Love Island. I better not say that out loud.
Yeah, but no, that's how I found out. I didn't even know he boxed till after that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, so good.
What can you do, man?
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
too entertaining.
Yeah. No, but it's been good. We're getting flooded with content.
Like we're watching Dragon Ball Kai.
Yeah.
We're trying to finish that. It's like he's never watched Dragon Ball Z, so we're trying to finish that.
Yeah, I mean, like, how old are you?
27. 27. 20. Sorry, 24.
24.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, I mean, you've kind of missed that like golden age because I suppose. How old are you?
I'm 37 as well.
Yeah, 37 as well. So like we would have been at like school, like, you know, we're just about to go to school. The last episode's coming up. Yeah. Goku's powering up the fucking spirit bomb. And you're like, I just gotta, I gotta go to school now.
Yeah, do you remember the Super Saiyan episode?
Yeah.
We're at the door. It's like, okay, he's turning. Just wait. And there's that, like your dad's beeping. It's like, just wait a minute. Just wait a fucking minute. And then he turns Super Saiyan and it's like it finishes and you're just like out the door and you go to your friends. Did you guys watch it?
Man,
did you guys see it?
They're just like the king of cliffhangers. Like they would just draw everything out, man. Like it would just take like 5 episodes for something to happen.
Yeah.
So, but it always just like you just could not like break away from it. So I mean, I understand like why you haven't seen it. You're 24. Like obviously it's. You know, where are you going to watch it these days? For us, it was Cheese TV.
Yeah.
Like, it was just on every day. And I think before that was like Sailor Moon, Pokemon. So that's where a lot of like...
Digimon as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of where our generation kind of picked up, like, you know, just the love of all those classics is, man, they were just on Cheese TV.
But like back then it was like either watch movies or watch these things or play Xbox. And I chose to play Xbox, honestly.
Yeah,
that's
good
just,
man.
So
that's just what I want.
He's
playing Halo.
He's showing his age, Xbox. We had NES.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But was NES good back in the day?
Of course.
There you go.
The old
Xbox was good for us.
Well, even if you go further than that, we had like Sega,
Mega Drive,
and
there's
like
that
the
Atari.
Yeah. Everybody used to play it. Well, for me anyway, is Alex the Kid, which was that
free game
that would like come with the console, and like everyone's like, oh shit, man, he just got up to the Blue Castle.
Yeah,
he's past the forest now,
bro. You know, I just realized a couple of years ago. You know those things? I think it's in Alex Kidd 2. You know those things that at the end where you have to rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Their heads were rock paper scissors. I just realized
that. The guys that had the
Yeah, I just realized that like a couple of years ago. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, no way. I played this game for like 15 years and not know this.
Man, and it's just like every little section took so many cracks at it. Yeah. I suppose it's like today's like Dark Souls. Is it Dark Souls? It's like like impossible.
Yeah.
It's
just a hard game.
You just have to keep like trying that little section again.
It's difficult, man.
It's like these games like you never played them, but it's like. You'll be running through the game and you get hit once, you die.
Yeah.
There's no, like Mario has they gave him the mushroom where you go smaller when you get hit once.
Yeah.
That was a cool lifeline, but Alex Kidd didn't have that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So you get hit once.
And not only that, you go all the way to the start of the stage when you lose. And you got like 3 lives and there's no...
So yeah, there's no like save points. So you're going through this like super long sort of thing. So you almost got to be into like an impeccable rhythm where you just know what's happening. Yeah. Only because you've like failed at it like 1,000 times and then you like sort of know how to get through. So most people would suck.
I don't know if you played Battletoads.
Yeah, Battletoads was sick.
On
Game Boy?
Yeah, but we remember that stage where you're like going over it's like on a hoverboard or something. But you have to... It's like one of the hardest stages. And it's like, I would never beat that stage. And I'm like, why did they make this?
Man, I'm surprised that you haven't like pulled it up again today and you're like, I'm going to beat that level.
I'll probably will, but then I'll probably get mad and break the console.
But yeah, and those games like Double Dragon as well.
All the games were hard back then.
Yeah, we had to like blow out the cartridges to get it going. Like the technology was so fucking old school that like that would stop a game from working. But
It was actually written that you should blow the cartridge. It's
Yeah.
like, it was actually there.
just a part of it.
Yeah,
blow
it's
the
like,
cartridge.
blow the
It was a
cartridge.
part of the instructions.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that's how you get it to work. You just
it gets to work. But man, it is cool to go through like that timeline and to see like games advance like so crazy from where they were back then and like what they are now, because you have like a whole new like appreciation for it. I mean, sure, like when you play a game these days, like you just get into it and you just forget about all that. But like they're so
not the same, I don't
fucking
think.
next level, man. It's what they used to be.
Oh,
Like, it is
graphical wise, yeah.
it's beyond where it's gonna go as well. It's gonna be interesting to see, and I think we'll probably see it in our lifetime as well, is where it goes in with like all this augmented, sort of
the
stuff.
AR
stuff, yeah.
So we'll be interested to see like how close it's going to become to like almost feeling like you're in there, like a Ready Player One
pretty
situation where you
close.
get feedback.
I reckon it wouldn't be too long before it gets to that, to be honest.
that's already
The way
there, kind of.
Yeah.
Some
VR?
of the VR stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that horror game PT that like freaked people out. It was kind of like fully realistic.
I need to play it.
Because if it feels so real, you can imagine like the emotions would be, you'd be fucking terrified if you're playing like a zombie
racing.
game or something like
Well,
that.
have you seen PT? So
No.
PT is basically, it's kind of like a Silent Hill inspired game.
Yeah.
You put the headset on and you're in a haunted, it's not haunted, but it's a dark house.
Yeah.
And you're walking through the corridors and stuff, and you just see like a silhouette past the corridor, like a woman walking.
Just like shit to freak you out.
Yeah, and it's like you're immersed in the sound, and it's like just a creepy house. You hear the door opening, you hear a door opening in the distance, and you're physically there while you got the VR on. And a lot of people are not able to finish that game because it's so scary.
I even get that game that way with like games now. Like even when I played Alien Isolation, I was freaking out,
scary,
man. Like there was points where I wanted to turn it off,
Yeah.
but I would say that's like the limit for me. Like Alien Isolation, kind of like I played through it and I really enjoyed it, but there was some moments, man, where I was just freaking out.
It's scary.
I don't know if it's just because I've got a crazy imagination or not, but like even playing like the new Resident Evils and stuff, I couldn't do it, man. Like I was
They're
playing, I'm like,
scary
I'm
too,
fucking
honestly.
terrified.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this. Like my imagination.
Especially with headphones on, dark rooms.
100%.
The latest Resident Evils, like Resident Evil 7 and 8, like 7 more so. 7 was the scariest Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Because when it turned into that like crazy family that like they chop their hands off, but they're like crazy, like sort of.
I think that was the one I was playing, and there was like a little situation where I was up in an attic, and then this like lady, this like grudge type character was running at me with an axe, and I was like with a gun, and they make the controls like real fumbly, so I'm just there like,
Now imagine that game in VR, because that's what we made him play it once. Like back
how'd you go?
He didn't go good. He was like 5 minutes in.
5 minutes, bro. Like, I can't even tolerate it without VR. You want me to play with VR? They're just laughing in the back like hyenas, giggling. They love it. I'm like, you try it then.
Oh
You try
man,
it then.
but it is like when they start to close that gap of like making it feel like it's so real, like you start to feel those real emotions of actually being terrified, even though you're only just like in a room like this.
Yeah. But you're not thinking about it because you got it starts to feel real.
Well, it's so immersive that you're just looking in the environment.
Yeah,
So like,
exactly.
you're just absorbing it in. The sounds are coming from different areas in the room, and you're looking in the areas, and it's like freaky. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do
I'll
it.
never do it again. Maybe. We'll see.
We have to do it for the podcast.
Yeah, you should maybe like get somebody like geared up here playing it with their reactions. That would be crazy.
Don't give him ideas. man.
I'll do it.
Don't give him ideas.
Yeah.
Oh,
You go better with that sort of stuff?
No.
No.
I'm not good. Like I get vertigo, so if I put VR headsets on,
you start to feel like that.
I'll probably like collapse on myself.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Terrifying, man.
It is. But the thing is like VR movies are coming out soon, so
Oh, fully.
yeah. So there's going to be VR take movies. So basically, when you look at the movie, you watch obviously, but you can you're immersed in it by looking left and right and
True.
up and
So
down.
it just gives you the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a niche thing, but it's like I think.
I wonder if that would either help improve the experience or make it worse.
Because you're looking away.
If you're in there looking
that's
around.
That's what I said. You're looking away from the scene, so kind of what's called. But what I think what someone was saying, that as in you watch it once, and you watch it for the movie, but then when you watch it again, you can live in that world.
Okay, yeah. So it just puts you in the environment, which I think would be like pretty cool, especially for like something like Avengers or something like that, where something like Outer World is happening that wouldn't usually happen in your sort of day-to-day life. Like you're coming in, aliens are coming in through a portal or something like that. You're actually in the situation looking around. I'm sure that could be pretty cool if it's not too realistic, obviously.
I'll shit myself, I think. Oh, man.
Oh, that would be super cool. For you to shit yourself.
No. It wouldn't. Trust me, it wouldn't.
Make for good content.
Yeah, for you, not for me.
Yeah.
Going back to like your work and after everything we talked about, is there one special project that you haven't, like in your ideas book, that you want to create but you think you're not at that level yet to make it?
I would say like I definitely want to make something a lot bigger, that like in scale wise, like, you know, maybe something like this or I mean the David and Gaddies are like pretty similar to that size, but maybe something life size, including like the full body, like something like maybe 10 foot, 15 foot. I would love to do something in that realm. But it's a different concept. It's a different way of working than I do. So it's like, I need to learn, how would I do that? Would I sculpt a maquette, get it scanned, get it printed in a styrofoam, and then like sculpt over the top of it? So I'd have to investigate how to do it. Also, I don't have the space. So like in our two shops, we have mezzanine flooring as well. So like the ceiling is like 2.2, 2.3. So I couldn't make it where I'm at. So I might need to rent like another shop where I just make this project. It's definitely something I would love to do, but it's more so just like a passion project. Like I would like to do it and maybe even work with like a local gallery or something like that and just have it displayed somewhere, because like if it's that big, where are you going to keep it? Like I couldn't have it in my house, I couldn't have it at the shop, so I'd need to make it and put it somewhere. So I would love to do something like that. I just know that it's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, which means I would have to learn like all these new techniques and stuff like that. But that would be like super, super cool to do, because I love life size, but sticking to heads is kind of how I sort of like stay, you know, realistic to that sort of scale. If we include the whole body, like you've got to go 6 foot, 5 foot, whatever. And it's just like, we don't really have the methods right now. So everything in our shops is built for, you know, something around this size, something around that side maximum. So that's probably what you'll see us mainly sticking to. But it would be cool to do something bigger.
That's awesome. That could be a next phase. Like
What would you do life size? Do you have any, like, what ideas?
Yeah, man, the only one that like comes to mind is I would absolutely love to do like an angel of death, like a big sort of like a big sort of reaper or something that has this big cloak and like these big gnarly wings and just this big like overbearing kind of figure. Like I would absolutely love to do something like that. So, but like even with the wings, I'm like, man, this thing, to do it justice, to do the concept justice, it would need to be massive. Yeah. So I would want you to walk up to it and feel intimidated by how big and scary this thing is. So if you keep it small, it's relatively...
A lot of sculptor artists, they always like F up the wings. Like they'll go small wings or something. Like I showed you my piece out there. Yeah. Even though it's small, the wings make the piece. Like them being that size on that
branching
person.
Out,
yeah. You get that, you do that in like the scale that you want. Yeah. Like that's what's going to be intimidating, the wings. Yeah.
Well, for me, the wings just need to be absolutely massive. Yeah. Because, you know, when you see something that big and when the wings are undersized, like, you just know. You just like, have to be like, that's not going to lift that guy up, mate. Yeah. You've got these little like sparrow wings on this big body. So it's like, I want to go these just absolutely massive, gnarly wings with like maybe bones coming out of them or something like that. I've always been
fascinated with like wings on like celestials. Like there was this old piece I saw way back in my early art days where it was like, it was an archangel. Yeah. But he was like a massive giant. But his wingspan, like you see him, the camera views looking up at him like he's a giant. Yeah. But his wingspan is from other side of the earth to the other side of the earth. That's how big his wingspan. So he's
absolutely massive.
It's a massive wingspan. It's like it engulfs the world. And that's like the craziest thing. Like imagining that's his wingspan. How big it is, his wingspan. And it's like, that's what made the image. Not the giant or anything, but just like
the scale.
The concept of scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it puts everything in proportion, like how small you are to something like that big as well. Yeah. You know, I mean, when you look at the scale of the planet alone and how small we are in comparison, it's like fucking, we are specks.
imagine
We are
those
specks
wings,
on the
yeah.
earth. Like, so it's crazy.
It's like you think about it in video games terms.
Yeah.
Like you think about that being a final boss. How do you beat that? You can't, like, there's no option or outcome where you beat that.
It's just putting it a little bit out of your reach. I mean, at that point, you just better like, we had a good run. We got to the blue castle.
Yeah.
This will do.
Yeah. So if I can ever create a piece, like one day, that's the why I ask you that question. I have certain pieces that I've written the idea of, but I don't think I'm at that level yet to create them. And that's literally one of them. To create like a scale piece like that,
because you're always there's always going to be improvement, and I think like anybody that thinks they're the best they're ever going to be is only doing themselves a disservice, because there is always room for growth to become better. Sometimes that's the biggest thing I see. Sometimes it's people's pride that gets them in the way of becoming better, because they think, oh, I'm good enough now. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just that there's always a next level. There's always improvement.
You could be better.
So it's like, and it doesn't even necessarily mean better. It just means also different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, who even knows what I'm going to be doing in 10 years? I might be doing like Married at First Sight characters. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or you will be on a show like Married.
It's just like a normal person sort of a thing. But, you know, so it's interesting to like just push on growth and change and just see where it goes. Because it might sort of like, I've surprised myself like later in life. Like I only got into anime when I was like 30. Like prior to that, I was like, no, it's just not my thing. Like people talk about, I love Dragon Ball, but like I didn't really get into.
We don't really consider Dragon Ball anime. That's the problem.
I mean, I got into things like, I don't know how it happened, but I'm just like, man, I love this, and I don't love reading, and that's where I get my reading in. I'll watch anime,
the mangas.
And I'll watch it in English subtitles in the native language. So it might be in like Korean or something like that. Japanese.
Sub is always better.
Was it Demon Slayer?
Yeah, the new one, Demon Slayer.
They're so good, man. Like
the graphics of that is amazing.
And there's just so many. I feel like Netflix is really putting some energy into like getting some like good sort of animes put in front of the world. And there's just so many that I've really gotten into, and it's just surprising. It's very surprising. So, I mean, that can happen in the future. Like, I might sort of... It's just never...
like something else that you never liked,
100%. Like, sometimes you're like, well, this is just what I like.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to get involved in anything else. But then it's like, you might get surprised. Like, even though it's a little bit off topic, like, I was going to the gym and one of the guys was like, oh, hey, man, like, a little bit short on numbers for, like, for netball. Do you want to jump in? I'm like, oh, netball. I'm like, you know, I like basketball. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll come out. Like, I'll just come out and have some fun. I fucking loved it, man. And it's just one of those things that I thought netball's not my thing, but then I played it and I was like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but it's just by chance that I got pulled into
basically,
it.
Just experimenting, trying new
things.
Yeah, so it's just keeping yourself open, because you just never know. Like in your head, you think like, nah, that's not me, that's not my jam, but you just don't know,
exactly,
man.
Because I saw you were doing a lot of Greek mythology pieces, and then you transitioned to like anime and stuff, and I'm like,
man, I love it all. And that was kind of my problem when I was like younger, because I was like finding it hard to get my identity, because I'm like, I love everything.
Yeah.
It's like most people kind of stick to a team. They're kind of like, I love this or I love this. And it's like, I just kind of loved everything. I was like, oh man, I love things that were like contradictory as well. Like I love anime, I love like sort of different styles. So you'll see my artwork will always just be different. Like I just like different things. So it's like, you know, that's why sometimes there might not be, the only common thread is like death and skulls. But I try to explore as many different concepts as I can, because it's just so enjoyable, especially when I study like these older sculptures. I get to learn a little bit about the culture, and imagine that people sculpted these like thousands of years ago. And, you know, even Mimir, I got to like really delve into the game and look into things and be inspired by different images and different color palettes, and it's really cool to see, just like study the topic of what I'm working on. It's like quite enjoyable that they're all so different. You know,
I love doing that as well. Like when someone puts me on a project that I haven't done before, just reading up about it and just learning about it. It's like you're filling up your palette for inspiration for later things.
100%. Like I definitely enjoy that. You know, so I definitely want to just keep that going and keep surprising people and just doing things that might be a little bit out of the box for them. But hopefully, I can just put my spin on it to just still keep it in line with Jack of the Dust.
Because you're saying like you're open to trying new things. I remember. Code has your, I think, David and Gaddy.
Yeah.
Amazing. And we were like talking about, is there like a historical era or something that you would like to dive into that you haven't really In terms of sculpting, like you would like to, like, Greek mythology, Roman.
I love like Roman sort of history and stuff like that. Like I just love that era as well. So I feel like I've touched on that a little bit. Man, it's so hard because I love it all. Like I would love to do some maybe Tibetan stuff, or maybe it's hard to say. Like I love it all. Like I love just how diverse humanity is. It's like we're all essentially the same, but we've all created these like wildly different cultures based on like where we're at.
Yeah.
Or even like what we create with movies and like animes. Like these are all from humans. We're all the same, but we're also wildly different. And that's what I enjoy about artwork is I get to explore these different personalities and these different things, which to me is very enjoyable to kind of look around and just see what's going on.
I think that's why I love mythology so much as well, because you can dive into everyone's mythology.
Yeah.
They all have dope ones. Like one of my faves is obviously Egyptian mythology.
Yeah.
Have you done any Egyptian stuff? Like,
I have. So I've done the King Tut bust. So it's a wall mount. So it's kind of got like the headdress and the skull beneath it. I think that was like my first wall mount. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super cool. Super cool.
I don't know if you've probably seen mine. I've done like a few pieces of like the skull interpretations of Anubis and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, that's where I like to dive into skull stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything that's eternal.
That's
Egyptian. That's what I put skulls. That's where I use skulls. Like if I'm creating an eternal piece, like an eternity sort of message.
Some sort of a character that's sort of transitions space and time. There's like
that's where I like to use my skulls. Like I did the broken king, which is like a broken skull with the crown crushing him.
Yeah.
That's where I like to use them. And that's the cool thing about going back to the Anubis is you can create your own interpretations of what you think mythology is in your own light.
Well, it's so cool with art is just like you get to decide, like because you're passionate about it, you get to pick the angle.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the most fulfilling part of it is because you know that if you don't do it, nobody else will because you've got a certain angle that nobody else does. There can be a lot of people that do Anubis pieces, but nobody's going to take that specific angle that you do. And I think that's what's so great about artwork. And that's also why I don't try to claim ownership over skulls if anybody does anything because it's not mine. Yeah. And people can do the same shit, but put their own angle on it. It's still very, very cool, man. I would love to see people do more skull artwork. I feel like there's still not enough people doing it. Like, I've been doing it for a long time and, I've seen people give it a crack here and there, but I'd love to see more people give it a crack.
Yeah, and tag us. Where am I looking at? Tag us when you do skull art. Tag him especially because,
I want to know about it.
He should be your inspiration.
Thanks.
That's something like I love about, I guess, your work and you're very adamant on keeping things, I guess, accessible to everyone, know? And I was like wanting to ask, and I'm really curious, is there something that kind of drives that? Is there a reason that you're always like, well, in terms of, I guess, pricing and the projects you work on, is there a reason why you try and keep it accessible to everyone?
For sure. It's because, I definitely grew up with like, not a lot of money. So I grew up in a sort of middle class to sort of lower class family where we didn't really have a lot. And, obviously I want to try keep things in a price point that's affordable, but still allows me to like express my creativity and bring to market a high-end product. So it's that fine line of like trying to keep it affordable, but trying to express my creativity in the best way that I can, because at the end of the day, it's got my name on it. But I grew up like a lot of people, just in a middle class family, didn't really have a lot. Every time my parents would have a spare $50, we'd go out for a holiday and see my granddad just a couple hours down the road. And I think like growing up like that gives you a lot of appreciation, for one, what I've done, where I'm at today. But also I think just in life, I think it's just so rewarding to earn things. And I feel like you appreciate things a lot more when you have to work for it. So obviously I don't want to put the price point too low to the point where it's disposable, because if you're not spending a lot, it's disposable. You're like, whatever, I'll just buy 10 of them and throw them out when they get dusty. But also that lower price point, I can't make something that's in line with what I want to sort of create. Like I want to create a certain level of realism, stuff like that. So it's all about walking that line, I'm always walking that line. I'm trying to create things that are like a little bit more affordable. And then I'm trying to create things that are just purely artistic freedom, where I don't let the finances become the restricting aspect of the artwork, because sometimes it is. sometimes you're like, I want to keep it affordable, but I can't make the type of artwork that I want to. So
because I got to buy this.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely believe that, you know, another core value is just earning something is just so rewarding, especially going through this whole experience of becoming an artist has been extremely tough. That doesn't mean that it's like, yes, it's tough, but very, very rewarding, because you look back and you're like, fuck, that was tough, but I just kept going. So it's very rewarding and fulfilling to go through that hardship and come out the other end and sort of get to where you wanted to go. And so it definitely plays a part, like in, you know, how I price my products is like, I don't want to be extremely expensive and unattainable, but I want to create a quality product as well, which is why they're not super cheap. So it's about finding that Goldilocks zone. Yeah.
As long as you're happy with the product, that's it.
Man, like I'm super.
You're paying.
They're both happy. His customers are happy. He's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, if you ideally wanted it a bit less, like you're getting for what you paid for. Like you can tell it's worth that much.
So like, if I try to get it too low, I might be a little bit unfulfilled with the result, and sometimes
you wouldn't be satisfied.
Sometimes I just can't allow.
You'd have that empty feeling, like I could have done this. It would have been better, but
exactly.
It's better that way. That it is what it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely agree with that. But yeah, it's a hard line to walk, because, you know, you can't really sort of shoot to everybody. There's going to be people that can't afford it, but hopefully with these people, it gives them a little bit of motivation and something to work towards. When I first started, what I would commonly see is that's way too expensive, bro. Like your artwork's like way too expensive. It's like your prices are bullshit, bro. And like now it's all like, I wish I could afford it. Like, this is great. My dream is to, so it's actually good for me to see that now people can actually see the value.
Yeah.
And yes, they might not be able to afford it, but they're like, I wish I could. And hopefully that even provides a bit of motivation to be like, man, I just got this new pad. I would love to have a new Jack of the Dust skull. Yeah. I might just turn up the heat a bit and like, you know, work a bit harder, and maybe I can get one for the house and like, you know, spice up the pad a bit.
Centerpiece.
Like, so hopefully it just motivates people these
days.
And
there's people that love the pieces, man. Like I just saw Bear Walker like do one of your do an unboxing to one of your pieces.
Oh, full on.
Yeah, he I think he got one of this one here.
Oh, epic.
Yeah. So he got that one and done an unboxing, and
epic.
he was like showing some love. It was like
so good.
And I saw a lot of like after he did it, I saw a lot of people doing unboxings and saying, "Oh, I got this piece as well."
Didn't Joe Rogan also like show like your skulls on?
Yeah, man. I was super blown away. So he reached out. I know Joe's been following us for a long time. And I was like, I wonder when he's going to grab anything. And he just reached out one day and he's like, man, love your artwork. I wanted to grab 7 of these skulls. I wanted to put them on the podcast table. So right now, if you watch one of his podcasts, you'll see 7 Jack of the Dust skulls on his bench. And it's all the crazy people that sort of like see that artwork as well. And, you know, he's done like podcasts with like Elon Musk and like Zuckerberg, and like all these people are like just talking over my skulls. And I'm like, it's mind blowing. It's surreal. Yeah. It is surreal. Because I never grew up as an artist. Yeah. So it's like crazy to see that. Like I had some passion. I wanted to give it a crack, and I've somehow managed to get it to a point where it's starting to get recognition. And I didn't go the gallery route. So my art is not what you would want to see in a gallery anyway. They would probably just turn their nose up. Yeah. But it is actually really challenging to go through this route with like no support. Like you're kind of just doing it off your own back. So I'm super grateful that I went around the back end and got it to a point where people recognize it without the assistance of galleries, because I feel like that's not in line with who I am anyway.
I think if you did a gallery just for yourself, though, it works, and it'll be a dope one. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you got like a Star Wars film called Skull and Clones.
Yeah. Get it all going.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that would be dope, like going around seeing all your different type of skulls. Yeah. I think it's a cool niche. I know what you're saying when you go to a gallery and it's like if you see like all art pieces, then you got a random skull somewhere. Yeah, but
it might not be like but if it's on brand.
If it's one that's themed by you, it's like a literal
exhibition of Jack of the Dust. Yeah,
your exhibition. Because my friend did that. Jackson Booth, he's the one that painted that. Oh yeah, and also did my tattoos. He did his own show, and it's like he was able to like, you know, fulfill that line of work because that show was just his. Yeah. And it's a cool thing to see all his work. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool. Like when you walk in, it's just all your own stuff. Like I definitely think that'd be cool. And maybe that might be something on the cards for later on as well. Like maybe going over to maybe the States where they don't have the means to come and see me locally. So it's like for them.
I think you do it in a different way. Like you be different. Like as in like when you do a show, say you're releasing a new product, like say you're releasing 4 new stuff.
Yeah.
You do like a party or a show for those things. Yeah. But you put all your other shit.
Yeah, as well.
And they'll come check out your stuff.
Show everything.
You can sell some offset stuff, and it's like it's an enjoyable party.
I feel like doing that massive overbearing piece could be like something great for that sort of, you know, because it's something I've never ever done before. So I think that might gain a little bit more attention and get like more people to come out. So yeah, I mean, definitely something on the cards. That definitely could be cool for sure.
We'll definitely come down if you do it.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, so good, man.
I want to see that Angel of Death live.
Oh man, that would be dope.
I want to look at it like
that'd be so dope.
Do you have any like projects you're currently working on that no one really knows about that you kind of would like to like?
Yeah, shout out. I'm definitely working on something at the minute. Like I'm actually trying to get back into sculpting a little bit more. Like I had a little period of break last year where I was just doing a bit of PR stuff and trying to just give some love and attention to the other sides of the business. Sometimes when I sort of lock myself away in the room and I just create artwork, other things get neglected. So I try to just keep myself balanced, and I guess I find it hard to focus on multiple things at once. So generally when I move away, I just focus on something. So I've been doing like some PR stuff for the last 6 months, which is done now. So now it's back to sculpting, but I am working on a wall-mounted Mickey Mouse piece, which I think
this is for like this is for purchasable.
Yeah, it's for everyone. Yeah. Like it's just something cool that I wanted to do, and like I've really been enjoying doing animation as well, like the Rick Sanchez piece. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of doing animated work, like grabbing a 2-dimensional object and making it 3-dimensional. Adding in all those Posca lines as well. So it's like you're looking at a sculpture, but it looks like it's animated because it has those drawn in lines. So I'm loving doing stuff like that. So that's where I was like, I did Boo as well, which you probably seen.
My favorite one was the Shiny Charizard.
That was sick. That was sick. People love that one. That one went nuts. So I'm just really enjoying like the challenge of trying to grab a 2-dimensional object and making it 3D. Mickey Mouse, you still see 3-dimensional objects and stuff like that. So there is some good references to help me out. But one thing I'm finding a bit of a challenge with Mickey Mouse is that he doesn't have teeth. So I'm trying to show the skull, but I'm trying to show teeth as well. Yeah. So it's like, even when he smiles, it's all gummy and there's nothing there. So it's like, it's hard to sort of like break away certain portions, show the skull, and then show teeth. But I have seen teeth pop up just once, and that was for like a little tutorial on how to brush your teeth for kids. Yeah. So I've seen it on YouTube. He's like showing kids how to brush their teeth. And you just see a little glance of just like a white screen, but that's all they give you. So I'm just trying to figure out how do I attack that and, you know, do the piece justice. And because I think, you know, I have seen a Mickey Mouse with teeth before, and it's like, this is the worst Mickey ever, Mickey with teeth. And I'm like, I hope I don't land in that category.
Put him hip hop girls that says Mickey.
Yeah.
That'd be so sick.
Oh man, that's actually a good idea.
So ETA wise,
writing that down.
Do you have an ETA on like release on this so people can like maybe get ready for it? Yeah,
well, I reckon I'm going to get back to work as soon as I get back to the Gold Coast. So you might even see a sculpting video next weekend. Maybe this weekend. We'll see. But hopefully about another month or so.
Awesome.
Yeah, but very excited for that. Definitely because it has some challenging aspects as well. So hopefully I can cross those areas and do it justice. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, I think we've run out of time. This guy's giving me the X symbol. But,
Shut it down. Shut it down. No deal.
Before
we go, tell the people where to find you and what to expect, and, you know, how to keep in touch with you.
Awesome. So it's Jack of the Dust on Instagram and TikTok. You can also get me at jackofthedust.com for my website and look at my archive collection. Thank you very much for having me. Definitely appreciate you guys taking the time. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you guys, and definitely appreciate the time.
Awesome.
Appreciate you always.
Thanks, guys.
Well, tune in to us. Is it every week or like
whenever we
can?
do it.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Love you guys.
All right, man. See you guys.
Cheers.